Hi guys, let's welcome you guys all back to Read with Melanin. Today we are here to talk about the books that I read in the month of May. And listen, I read a lot of books. I read 9 books. Was it 9? I feel like, yeah. I read 9 books in the month of May and I DNF'd. Have I found my 4-star book though? No. But let's talk about the books that I did read for the month of May. I think I can officially say that the second series of the Percy Jackson world, the one that I started reading last month, is actually just top tier, better than the first series. I feel like the first series is still a good read. Like, I'm not gonna like hold them for that, but I feel like Rick really got in his bag with the second series, because the second series gave us drama, gave us real consequences, gave us potential death. Like, people died, people got real hurt, people need therapy after the second series. With that being said, I did read the last 3 books in the second series. So I read Mark of Athena, House of Hades, and Blood of Olympus. So without giving spoilers, at the end of the first series there is a prophecy about the seven. And so in the second series, the 7 actually have to go forward with this whole prophecy thing. Love the characters in this. I loved Nico D'Angelo from the first series, but Nico D'Angelo in the second series, I want to adopt him. Actually, I want to adopt him, Hazel, Leo, literally almost all of them. I do not want to adopt Annabeth or Percy or Jason, actually. But the other Piper, no, Piper, I don't want a Piper either. The rest of them, totally would adopt them. The other 3, all of them, my babies. I thought this was a very well done one. I was gonna space out this series and read like 1 a month, but once I hit like Son of Neptune and The Lost Hero, they were good. But Mark of Athena really set it off. I could not have imagined reading these books as they came out, because at the end of Mark of Athena was like one of those moments where when you're reading, you're like, oh crap. Like, that was what I felt like reading the end of Mark of Athena. And then right after Mark of Athena is House of Hades. And in House of Hades, you get such a different look, because Nico D'Angelo is a main character in House of Hades, whereas he's never really been a main character. He's always been a side character that just kind of keeps popping up in and out when things happen. And so genuinely 1000% loved seeing Nico more in the forefront. You kind of got a better understanding of who he is as a person, and like why he is the way that he is. And I love him and Hazel's dynamic. That's his half sister. I will say that I liked the whole, is dichotomy the word? So in the first series you focused on the Greek gods, and in the second series you're focusing more on the Roman gods. I loved that whole thing. I thought it was very creative. I feel like if you're gonna do Greek gods and Roman goddesses all the time, get creative, because middle grade ate y'all up in that particular regard when it comes to these 2 books. I do plan on starting the 3rd Percy Jackson series, the Apollo one. I do plan on doing that one. Just not right now. I'm gonna take a break from Percy and probably come back next month with more Percy. Well, I don't know, we'll see. As of right now, I have not picked up a Percy Jackson book in June, but also it's only like June 9th, so who knows. So another book that I read for the month of May is Dragon Fruit by Micaiah Lucier. It is the Pacific Island mythology book that I was telling you guys about. I did pick it up this month. My library did have it available, and I listened to the audiobook originally to get the pronunciation of the names. So Hanalei is the main character that I couldn't pronounce before, but I read it at home and then I listened to the audiobook at work because I could not wait to get home to finish it. I thought the book was very fast paced. I did find some consistency things. Like, they weren't so bad that they ruined the story. I thought the story was very creative. There were moments in this book where I was at my desk working and I was, you know, working, but then I would stop because I had to be like this, because there were 2 scenes that kind of left me speechless. No, 3. There were 3 that I was just like, oh my God, what? And almost, when I tell y'all, this book almost hit that 5-star for me. The only thing is, like, this book, yet again, is advertised as a romantic fantasy, and I think that's a disservice to the book. It is not it's not a romance fantasy. There is a romance subplot, but the actual romance has nothing to truly do with the full story. I don't know. Basically, I'm tired of books being advertised as romantic fantasies. It is a fantasy. This book is not a romantic fantasy. So if you're going into this expecting this like crazy romance, you're not going to get that. And it's not the book's fault, it's the publisher's fault for advertising it like that, because that's not what this book is about. If you read the description, that's not what this book is about. But literally, if you look at the first line, it says, from acclaimed author, a dazzling romantic fantasy inspired by Pacific Island mythology. So just keep that in mind. I really liked the book. I gave it like 4.5 out of 5. So I would like to know your thoughts. I feel like you and I could have a really good talk about this, because there were some parts of the book that I was like, huh, but I don't quite know how to properly word it. And that's why I didn't get 5. But I really enjoyed the story. I read this book very quick. I read it in like 2 days. So I liked it. Another library pickup for me was The Good Ones Are Taken by Taj McCoy. This is an adult black romance. It is about a girl named, what is her name? Maggie, and she is on the hunt to find a date to her 2 best friends' 2 weddings, because she's the maid of honor for both of them. And on the way, it turns out that her best friend is also confessing his love for her. I didn't hate it. I enjoyed, obviously, a lot of these romance books, I enjoy the camaraderie either between like the sisters or the set of girlfriends. It's always that kind of situation where like I love the dynamic between between these people in the book, because I believe in black romance, they do it so well. Like the dynamic between like the best friends, or like, you know, they always have like time set outside for each other. In these books, they can call on each other when they need them, and like there's actual support in there. So I personally really, really like that. However, it kind of made it seem like, oh my gosh, this is gonna be a love triangle. Who's she gonna pick? It is so obvious who she's going to pick before the story even really gets started. I do not know why it was advertised like that. Plus the other guy in the situation, there's a scene in the book where I'm like, I don't think, like, you're not gonna build Maggie up to be this super confident, very sure of herself character, and then this man is gonna do that and still considered to be in the running. I don't know why. Like, I felt like in that scene it wasn't realistic. I was like, you gotta be kidding me. That's not how that's, like, there's no way, because what he did and said was real out of pocket, and I couldn't imagine encountering that in real life, because in real life I would not have even engaged with him after that. I would have hit the block button so fast that, yeah. But also I realized that I was projecting, and that could literally just be me. So I don't know. If you've read this book, please tell me how you feel about that. I feel like you know the scene I'm talking about without me saying it. But I will say this is my first Taj McCoy book, and I will probably be checking out Taj McCoy later on. So there's that. So y'all know when I travel, I always just pick up a bunch of quick like romance books or things like that, things that I can like put on my Kindle, so I don't have to carry books. And I had Faded Memories, a night shift novella by Christina C. Jones. Now what I didn't know is that this was not a standalone. In fact, this was actually the second book. So I do plan on reading the first book sometime in the future. I don't know why this one was shown to me first, and like when I put it on my Kindle, it didn't show up as a novella, like a part, like the part 2 of a series. It just showed up as like a novella. So this story is about a young girl, or a woman, who moves back home to her hometown and starts working under her cousin, because the life that was made for her is not necessarily the life that she wanted. And it's a very quick novella. I enjoyed it. I give it my thumbs up. it was a quick read, so I don't really know how to put it there. But I will say with this novella, I do want to know what happens to her. Basically, I can kind of relate to the main character. I think that's what it is. And so I kind of want to see like like how her life turned out after she like really started living life for herself like that. So I don't know, another one of those Christina C. Jones moments where I'm like, hey sis, if you want to write more about this, I would read it, because I'm still stuck on the Roses and Thorns thing. I'm probably never gonna let that go. Another new author for me, I read The Very Secret Society of Irregular Witches by Sangu Mandana. The premise of this book is that it focuses on a witch named Mika Moon. She is hired by these group of mysterious people to basically tutor and teach these 3 young witches who were adopted by another witch. And she finds herself at this house, and it's like basically trying to keep them a secret, but also wanted to teach them how to control their powers. But also they're having an issue because their main caretaker has disappeared, and they don't know where their main caretaker is. She has not come back yet. And like basically without her, the wards on the house are gonna drop, and like it's very dangerous for multiple witches to be in one area. And also these are 3 very young, untrained witches at that. So Mika has been called in to help them and like figure out a plan of action to get them saved, because the estate lawyer is coming to see them and wants to figure out where the head of the household is, and they have no idea where she is. So I actually really like the book. Actually, I will be reading more. I think the 2nd book comes out sometime this year. I will be reading more. I don't know, it's not, I refuse to call it like high fantasy. I think the best way I can put it, this is real contemporary fantasy. I think is the best way to put it. Like the adventure of this particular fantasy is very like everyday life. Like they are just living their everyday life, and they just so happen to also have magic in there. Whereas like normally, like when you think of fantasy, you're thinking of like adventures or something of that nature. This one is very like, unfortunately, it's a cozy contemporary fantasy kind of feel. I don't know if that makes sense, but I feel like if you've read this book, you know what I mean. I think I gave it like a smooth 3-point-something stars. I really enjoyed it. Wasn't one of those 5-star reads where I was like, oh my god, I have to read this again and again. No. Yeah, there is a romance subplot, but not something for me to like gush about. Yeah. So y'all know I started the Wright Brothers series on one of my last trips. And the beginning of this month, or beginning of May, I flew to Maryland to go to my cousin's wedding. And so I had another Wright brother. So I read Pulling Doubles by Christina C. Jones. This one is about the Wright brother that's a doctor. And he is dealing with his new physician's assistant who is training under him. And of course there's sparks that's flying. This would be such a cute rom-com, y'all. Like, I thought the first Wright brothers where the one Wright brother was in school and like he was with the TA, I thought that would have been a cute rom-com. No, Pulling Doubles, even using the title Pulling Doubles, cute rom-com. At some point, I'm gonna need like, no, not Shonda. Shonda doesn't like black women. I'm gonna need some type of director, not Tyler Perry either, but somebody that can like show the beauty of black people. Please make this into a rom-com. I would love to have this in my rom-com rotation when I'm just upstairs with popcorn watching cutesy little movies. That's what I want. So yeah, that would be so cute. Okay, sorry. Also sorry for the shade of Shonda, my bad. Next book. So the next book I listened to as an audiobook because I was gifted this audiobook by Macmillan Audio. And so I just wanted to give them a thank you and a shout out because this was a book that I wanted to read. So thank you guys for giving me that opportunity to read this book. With that being said, this is not a paid sponsored video, even though Macmillan, if you want to sponsor me, you know. But yeah, I just wanted to point that out, that I did not actually buy this book. I was gifted this audiobook, and it is Four Eids and a Funeral, and I'm going to try my hardest to say these names. I practiced them. I did the little pronunciation thing. I'm gonna try. So we have Farida Abike Aimide and Abida Jagadar. I feel like I jacked those names up. But if you have not heard of Four Eids and a Funeral, it is a YA contemporary romance type book. It focuses on ex-best friends Tiwa and Saeed. They had a big falling out, and they have a big falling out where they're no longer talking, but Saeed ends up coming back home for the summer early because their favorite librarian from when they were kids passed away, hence the funeral. And so the story after that takes place where we're learning about what happened to Tiwa and Saeed's relationship over 4 different Eids. And I thought it was really cute. I liked the Hulu Four Weddings and a Funeral, the show. I think it was a movie too, but I really liked the show. So having it translated into like teenager angst and stuff, but also giving it a Muslim twist, I really liked it. Like, it was good. That was cute. I think I gave it like a 3 point something. Also note, when I give it a 3, I still very much enjoyed it. Anything below a 3 is where we start having problems. So, IDNF Shanghai Immortals by A.Y. Cho or Chow. This will be in the donate to the library pile. It is a gorgeous book. I got it from Fairy Loot. I DNF'd this bad boy. This is supposed to be an adult fantasy. The main character, what is her name? Oh, also, I want y'all to know why I wanted to read. This book is about a half vampire, half hoiling fox spirit, and all sasshole. I don't know why I never noticed that, but for some reason I didn't think that seeing the main character be described as a sasshole on the flap would not be a big deal. However, I hated the main character. She wasn't a sasshole. She was childish. She was immature. And she was just childish. Like, there was nothing that made me think, oh my God, I love her, she's spunky. No, she was just a little brat. And I, to this day, cannot tell you what the plot truly was. I guess the plot was supposed to be protecting the priceless dragon pearl. But again, it was too much. She, as the main character, ruined every scene. Every scene she was in, ruined it, because they kept throwing in these little things where she'd be like, no one really cares if you see her tits or anything like that. And then it's supposed to be some type of sass in it. And I was like, who translates this as sass? Because she's supposed to be a grown woman, and she's just, I DNF'd it. I feel like that's all I need to do. I don't want to bash the book or anything. Personally, it's going in the donate pile. I will be taking this to the library to donate when I take my books back to the library. It's no reason for me to keep this. I have no desire to read this, and so at least if they can't use the book, they can sell it to somebody, because again, it's a really pretty book. So hopefully, because all right guys, those are the books that I read in the month of May. My question to you guys is, what books did you read? Did you have any 5-star reads? We are still on the hunt for a 5-star read of 2024. I am genuinely shocked that we are 6 months into the year and I have not read one 5-star read. I don't know what's going on with me. I feel like Mark of Athena and Dragon Fruit were real close, but yeah, I don't know what's going on. It's about time for me to start rereading some of my old, my favorite books that are just be sitting on my shelves too. So I don't know. Yeah, thank y'all so much for checking out my channel, and until the next time, guys, bye.